What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another deck list breakdown. I've got a crazy death deck for you guys this week. I'm going to show you a couple games as they are insane. I'm going to break down the deck list as well. At the end of this video, there's also a pack opening. I've got some Winter Wonderland packs opened off stream, so I recorded it, and they're pretty nice. If you guys want to buy Winter Wonderland packs, they are only available until January 11th, or you can win a few booster packs in the next 3 weekend ranked events. Or if you don't want to gamble on packs, today's video is sponsored by AQUA.xyz, the best community marketplace for all your NFT gaming needs. So you can head on over to AQUA.xyz and you can check out the cards from Winter Wonderlands that you need to complete this deck. Show them some love. Big shouts to AQUA for sponsoring today's video. Now let's dive into the list. All right, here we go. Here's the list. So this was sent to me by Crumpy Lumpkins, an OG Gods Unchained player. This deck is very similar to a Rock Drake Over the Line deck that used to be very popular until they nerfed Over the Line. It now has these new Winter Wonderland cards, Spirit Storm, which really makes the deck pop, and Frost Queen Neferu, who is just crazy. So the Frost Queen, each turn after your opponent draws a card, which they're always going to do pretty much unless they have none left, they're going to take 2 damage. Then when they play a card to get rid of this, they're going to take 2 more damage. If they have to use their god power to do it as well, or attack with their relic, I mean, they're going to take so much damage. So if this sticks on the board more than one turn, you're doing potentially 8 damage or more with the Neferu, plus attacking face, 12 damage potentially. So playing this late game can be huge to just lock out your opponent. They're always going to draw cards and need to deal with this. And if you play it early game, you're only sacrificing really 1 stat in order to play it, so it's a really strong card. And then Spirit Storm, trigger the afterlife of each friendly creature. So what are we attempting to trigger in this deck? This deck will add some wrinkles to your brain. You need to be constantly figuring out what cards you want to be triggering and when. It's a steep learning curve, but it's a ton of fun. You also have Necronomics in here, which can deal 5 damage to your god and refresh 5 mana. So you can have some insane turns where you play multiple Necronomics, you play 15 mana worth of creatures, you're triggering their afterlives, and you need to make sure you're doing it in the correct order because some of these things require you to have less than 15 health. Some of these cards heal you, so then you're below 15 health during part of the turn, you're above 15 health. Some cards you need to have at least 6 cards in your hand when you trigger the afterlife or it won't do anything. So there's massive varieties of plays that can be made in this deck. But ultimately, the 2 afterlives we're really looking to trigger here are if your god has 15 health or less, summon a 6/6 Nether Spawn, and the Rock Drake, which also summons a 6/5 Rock Drake if you have 6 or more cards in hand. Now, you might think 6 cards in hand is a lot, but this deck draws a lot of cards, and truly, ultimately, in the mulligan, your #1 goal is to find cards that draw you more cards, because you can easily have 9 cards in hand with this deck. So draw as many as possible. Make sure you start with things like Untold Greed and Burrowing Scarab. You know, if you play Burrowing Scarab and then Untold Greed on turn 2, you're drawing 4 cards, which is just nuts. Fleshbind draws you a card in addition to healing. A very nice combo is destroying your Rock Drake egg, which is a 0/6. You get to heal for 6, draw a card, and then also spit out a 6/5 for 3 mana. So that's a huge combo you can do there. The V-Rock also draws cards as a Roar and an Afterlife. So this is yet another Afterlife that you can technically trigger with Spirit Storm. But the other card that you really want to be triggering with Spirit Storm is the Siren of the Grave, one of everyone's favorite cards in Gods Unchained, as it makes all enemy creatures go to sleep as an afterlife. So when you play this, you normally would have to have killed it with something like Sulfuric Rain. If you want to play this on the same exact turn, you burn your Siren, it dies at the end of the turn, your opponent's stuff's all on fire, and then it goes to sleep. So this is a huge combo here. But now you can actually trigger Siren of the Grave multiple times. Drop Siren, play Spirit Storm, it triggers but stays on board. Maybe you can trigger it again the following turn. You have Canopic Hoarder, which can trigger afterlives in the Void. There are a ton of combinations that can be done in this deck. It's not an easy deck to play perfectly, which really makes it a fun deck to play as you can get better over time. I played it in the weekend ranked. I went 72.7% with it, but you can see some other people tried it, didn't do as well. It's very tough to master this deck. Deathwish Thanatar. This card is really cool. This creature costs 1 less for each damage your god has taken. So after you've taken 16 damage, even if you heal back to 30, as long as you've taken 16 total, this will be 0 cost. So effectively, your goal, survive, but get down to less than 15 health, and then go nuts. You can drop Saris to heal back. So you could be at 1 health. You drop Saris, it costs 0, and it heals you back to 10. You can then play 2 Deathwish Thanatars for 0. You have a 5/5, 2 4/4s. You can then drop a Possessed Acolyte and trigger it with Spirit Storm, or sacrifice it with Fleshbind. There's just so many things that you can do in this deck where you have a totally empty board and then suddenly you have a massive board. So this is a super fun deck. Highly recommend it. Let's dive into some crazy games I played during weekend ranked. Here we go. Playing against Bream's War. All right. Going first. Against War, he's going to be doing a lot of damage. We probably don't need Soul Burn. I think we go Blood Ritual here. This deck can use a lot of different god powers depending on what you're playing against. We're going to be taking a lot of damage from Slayer, so we don't want to keep Necronomics. Spirit Storm, Siren of the Grave, Sulfuric Rain are really good. We can use Sulfuric Rain to trigger the Siren after we use Spirit Storm to trigger the Siren. You do need to obliterate something, though, in order to use the Siren. Get rid of the Spirit Storm.
Where to begin?
Okay, we don't need Neferu for a while, but I love the fact that we have Siren and Sulfuric Rain. We can stall for long enough and then use Neferu. Alright, he immediately gets that one out of Neferu's range. That's pretty big for turn 1. 9 stats on turn 1. We to get rid of Necronomics. We're not going to want to take that much damage later. We're going to take enough now. Get Sulfuric Rain, draw a card. Go digging for helpful stuff. Half-Life, we can trigger the Siren again. Eventually.
The hour is mine.
Alright. Not really a great turn. The only thing we have in the void is the Siren. We use it now, though. We can't sleep anything again later, ever. We can't trigger it with Canopic Order. We have Saris, so if we get down too low, we can heal ourselves back to 10. We have the Fleshbind on Neferu. It's going to be big. Oh, man, that is gross. Commander Pyrus is going to heal that back up, so we can't God Power anymore. That was the plan. We're going to God Power that, what is now a 3/2 on fire. Burrowing Scarab is pretty nice here. We need to get to Neferu, which we can do in 2 turns. Like, we could sleep with Half-Life. Maybe, yeah, if you hit the 4/3, it just grows. I think we have to Burrowing Scarab here. And then just God Power. We'll heal for 1, we draw 2. The next turn, that thing will burn up. We are eating a lot of damage. This deck does enjoy taking some damage, but we will need Neferu here to dig us out of this hole. Oof. Good grief. It's going to burn down to a 6/3, but then it's going to heal +1/+1, so it's going to be out of Neferu's range. However, we have Half-Life here. So we can Half-Life our Siren. And then we make it to Neferu next turn with the Pip. We got to save our Pip no matter what. We can Half-Life here. We could even Half-Life Fleshbind, Untold Greed. I think it doesn't matter if we hit anything. Because even if you hit the 7/4, it just grows back to a 7, well, an 8/3. We can just Untold Greed, draw some cards, put everything to sleep. We do lose our Siren, but next turn we're going to have Neferu. So as long as he doesn't play anything massive, a knock on wood. Rock Drake plus Fleshblind is a huge combo. Spirit Storm maybe could be used to trigger something. Not going to play the Death Wish because it's just going to die. And then Neferu's also going to hit it, so we can play it after we play Neferu. We're at 13 health here, so a bit scary if he's got like Slayer, Blade of Sticks. Oh. Okay. Well, down to 8 health here. So if we Neferu now, we're at 5. He God Power, Blade of Sticks, we die. So we can't just play Neferu to clear. We can play, yeah, so we play Ceres first, then Necronomic. This is awkward. Maybe Rock Drake Egg. Yeah, no, he can't play Neferu. Okay, so Rock Drake Egg, Fleshbind. That'll put me 1 health out of lethal. And we can't spend any mana here. So we just Necronomics. Necronomics into Neferu. And just pray he doesn't have any buffs here. He doesn't play any whetstones.
I'm going to enjoy this.
2 Warmonger Smiths for lethal. Okay. Alright, so we live. We've survived. And now we make our epic comeback. We got 1 Neferu on board, 1 Neferu in hand.
Well, that was amusing.
Alright, we got a free Ceres that heals me for 7 at this point.
Let's make them suffer.
We could trigger Spirit Storm and then play Neferu to clear. We could smack face first if we wanted to. I think we just raid and heal. And then drop Death Wish and Frost Queen Neferu. 2 Neferus. He's gonna take 2 damage at a minimum here. He draws a card, and now he has to play a card in order to get rid of Frost Queen. And that's another 2 damage. If he plays a Relic to try and get rid of Frost Queen, it's another 2 damage when he swings it. Okay, 5/4 with Protect. Neferu goes back to my hand, and we can use it to either pop Protect or do 3 damage. This is awkward. We can pop Protect, then we can use Neferu. Oh, Neferu is too expensive to also use God Power, so we're going to have to sacrifice 2 creatures here, or play Neferu and then sacrifice. Use Neferu to clear and then sack the 4/1. Go face for 9. Also, we're doing 3 damage with Neferu. And then 2 more damage with the other Neferu.
Step aside.
And then we could even flesh bind our Neferu if we want. Get Neferu back in hand. Left Neferu. Yeah. And we don't risk him using Slayer plus some crazy God Blitz relic plus buff. Alright, he takes 2 more from Neferu. Plus 2 more when he does anything else. Right. There's board. He's got a hidden creature for 4. You can use Neferu.
Let's make them suffer.
Untold Greed Neferu. No, that's too expensive.
I see through.
But it brings him down to 4. Yeah, I think we should have Rock Drake egged and then Untold Greeded, maybe. That Rock Drake egg is now just dead.
Dead hunger.
Throw up a frontliner here.
Let's see
A
how
little
this
bit of a
goes.
misplay, I think. The Rock Drake egg, you need 6 cards in hand. Untold Greed draws 2 cards. If you're holding 4 cards when you play Untold Greed, it will draw the 2 cards first. And then consider you having 6 cards in hand for the Rock Drake egg. So, very important order of operations to know. You're down to 4 health. He can God Power for 2. He gets up a frontliner. Alright guys, solve for lethal. Whew.
Maybe not.
Here we go. God Power, smack him in the face. Untold Greed. And 1 more Neferu for lethal.
I see through the veil.
Wow. GG's. That was a crazy game.
A victory worth its weight in corpses.
Playing against nature. I think we're going to go Blood Ritual. If we were going first, maybe you could make more of an argument for Soulburn. We're going to be playing more defensive, maybe. Go Blood Ritual. Don't need 2 Canopic Hoarders. Frost Queen is tempting to keep, but it's so much better late game. Okay.
Best of luck.
Best of luck.
Alright, so we got ourselves a Rock Drake egg and a Spirit Storm. Burrowing Scarab can help get my hand wider. The Rock Drake egg. Possessed Acolyte we don't need until we get down low on health, but you always want to start with card draw, so this is very important to get card draw out. Ray doesn't have Dagon, he has Dagon. That card is so gross. Woof. Okay, well, you're in trouble. Here comes the Untold Greed, having 4 cards in hand. We talked about in the last game. You can see you draw the 2 cards first, and then it procs the egg. So we have a shot at killing the 2/4 if he doesn't have a Lightning Strike. What does that mean? No idea. Yeah, if he Barrage, he sacks the Marshwalker, maybe. Yeah.
Ah,
Rip.
Until the next
God, he keeps that Dagon on board. I don't know how we're going to deal with it.
The hour is mine.
Ragnarok gives burn 3, but then it doesn't die, which means it then grows and regens 2. Just draw a card. The 4/2 can take it out.
Patience.
You gonna eat 8 damage here? Wow. Okay, Neferu. Oof.
My turn.
Stop hurting me. Darius is cool as well. I mean, we can Ragnarok here. We can just keep drawing. We're close to being able to play Neferu. I just don't like... We Ragnarok now. It's gonna kill the Apple Boy and put the buff on the Dagon, but then maybe we can kill Dagon with Neferu.
Now we wait.
It's gonna be a 3/5. I'm also gonna mill a card now, but we're just trying to survive. This deck can do some weird things though once you get down to 15, which we're gonna be at this turn. Hopefully we don't mill anything too important. He could have swung with the Fae Flame Blade first. I should be at 12.
My hand is full.
That's actually big for me that he played the Black Jag, because now the Black Jag's going to be 4/4. Doesn't quite allow me to kill that Dagon, though. We have Possessed Acolyte, we have Spirit Storm ×2. This is where stuff can get really crazy. He can't kill me next turn. He can do 6, 9. He can do 9 damage.
Nature is often unpredictable.
Preferable to have more than one thing on board when you do Spirit Storm, but honestly, even this is pretty freaking huge. Look at this board we just developed. We had nothing. We were dead to rights. Now suddenly we have not only a ton of massive creatures on board, he can't just wipe the whole board because then the 2/2 spits out another 6/6. And if he doesn't quite kill me next turn, we have Saris. We should be able to take out the dog now. We got both Neferus. If he kills the 2/2, we also have Canopic Hoarder, which we can trigger. The 2/2. And we have the Dragon Egg in the Void as well. Though we are a few cards shy, I suppose. But we have Dragon Egg. Well, he gets the heal, so he heals the dog, which actually makes it grow. Oof. 4/6. If he trades it into the 4/4, though, dog dies. Okay, now it's a 6/8. If he trades into a 6/6, the dog dies. Kills one of the 6/6s with a lightning strike. And he just goes face. Ouch, ouch. Okay, but that's good for us now. We have Saris. Saris saves our life.
Is mine.
Another free 4/4. A lot of options this turn. I think we sack the 6/6 and the 2/2 into the dog. And then the 4/4 into the other
That is
cat.
not possible.
We can kill Cat Dog. We lose our whole board, but then we can do Saris as a 5/5, Death Wish as a 4/4, all for free. And we can also Frost Queen. We can put out some heavy firepower and wipe his board. That's crazy. And then we have Canopic Hoarder to trigger more big cards next turn. That's pretty nuts. Plus this is another 6/6. Yeah, this deck is pretty disgusting. Okay. We could Canopic Hoarder here, actually, instead of Frost Queen. And then we can get... we can't get through the egg, actually. Egg's not going to proc. So we can draw 2 cards, though, which is still pretty nice. And getting another 6/6. I mean, that's huge. 2 6/6s, a 5/5, a 4/4, and a little 2/1. And we get to draw 2 cards, though, so that's nice. I've only got 10 health. He said GG's. I think he's saying GG because we win, but you never know. Out the 2/1. We still gotta do 22 damage. We can do 21 plus Neferu. Neferu plus 21. Take out the frontliner with Neferu, and that's a GG's.
I see through the veil.
This deck is dirty. GG's. Alright, here we go. Let's open up our packs. Let me slide down here. Here we go. Oh, Frozen Rest in Shadow. Okay. Great card in Board Wipe Death. Another Woodcutter Imp. These guys are really good. I have 5 now. I'm going to forge that into a Shadow. Love this card so much. Hopefully I can get a bunch of these and forge them into a Shadow. And this one. These 2 right here are the Control Nature Rock Stars. Love it. I have a Gold Fir Tree. This is a great card. One of the best of the set. And yeah. Love it. I do have a Shadow one already, but this is... you can't complain. Okay, this is the best of the set. That's huge. That's a huge pack. Love to see that. Mary Chadmos. This guy is a Chad. Love to see it. Let's go. That was a sick pack. Guiding Light, not a fan. I gotta try a Candy Chain deck still. Really looking forward to trying that card. It's probably not great, but it seems like it'll be fun. Take the Reins. Another Candy Chain. Another Woodcutter. Okay. Gotta try that Avalanche Watcher out as well. Wow. That is nuts. This card is so good too. Another Take the Reins. Alright. Love to unpack a gold legendary. If you get a legendary in gold, unpacked or forged, you do... oh my god. What? What is happening? Thank god I'm recording these. Normally I only open my packs on stream, but I got 10 extra packs here, and wow. Glad I'm recording them. Anyway, if you unpack a gold legendary, which I have not, or forge one, you get a trinket. So I am still attempting to do that, but cannot complain about those packs. Those were pretty sweet. Let's go.